For me, sustainable strategies has been about taking risks. Accordingly, in my current practice, I use remote cameras to observe animal and human activities on terrain they cohabit, that is, the orchard next to my house in southern France. From early May, I have daily harvested photographs and video from 3 trail cameras. I use photographs generated to address the question, how do humans and animals cohabit the orchard terrain? I present the work as a series of 6 triptychs and 3 diptychs, showing a representative range of animal and human activities on the orchard. All photographs are in black and white, emphasising that the space is the same for both night and day visitors. I edged towards using a remote camera when a friend told me that a boar was visiting my garden every day at dusk. I wanted to see this visitor for myself, but before I could, the boar was illegally shot by hunters. I was sad for the boar and disappointed for myself not to have seen him before he was, quite literally, turned into steaks and sausages. Goaded by this, I purchased 2 inexpensive trail cameras as an experiment and soon found that the orchard was visited by various animals and crossed by known and unknown humans. For a year, I conducted this photography as a side interest, gaining experience in using remote cameras, the disciplines of maintaining them, and regularly uploading the memory cards to my computer and organising and storing data. During Gary's Module Leaders Seminar, Visions to be Written, he posed several fundamental questions, such as, what is photography for, and why do I need a camera? Which reminded me of Flusser's view that whatever the photographer's criteria for making work, it is subordinate to the camera's program. But, I thought, where is the balance of creative power when I set a camera to work remotely? This coincided with my discovery of post-human photography in the module toolbox and read Joanna Zielinska's The Creative Power of Non-Human Photography, in which she cites photographers Paul Womble and Véronique Ducharme as having departed from the human-centric visualization process and entered the debate about the place of human intentionality in photography theory. With non-human photography, says Zielinska, agency is distributed amongst a network of human and non-human participants, even if the viewer is held to be a human gallery goer. In a later piece, Zielinska asserts that if all life is indeed photographic, the notion of the photographic apparatus that embraces yet also goes beyond the human becomes fundamental to our understanding of what we have called the photographic condition. Zielinska's words liberated me to consider remote cameras as valid tools for a photographer. I purchased 3 better quality trail cameras, and there is a sustainability issue here and I'll return to that, and moved non-human photography work centre stage. As I began work, I studied Stephen Gill's 2 trail camera projects, Night Procession and The Pillar, and I could see visual similarities between his work and some of the work I was generating. I think this is particularly the case in Night Procession, where, like me, Gill was generating work that could startle, such as a deer right up against the camera, in my case a fox or a boar, or simply a leg of a tall animal, for me the rump of a boar, or a person crossing in front of the lens, for me a stranger stealing fruit. But it looks as though, in Night Procession, Gill frequently moved the position of the camera, whereas in The Pillar he kept it in one place, so that every picture was made from the same viewpoint. Through early trial and error, I established the best locations for my cameras and left them there. Talking about The Pillar in a 2021 interview, Gill speaks of wanting to lose control, to step back as a photographer and allow the birds to express themselves in the images. I was fascinated by this concept, but was reminded again of Flusser, whose opinion that photographers are playing a game of operating the camera, but always within the programmed rule of the apparatus, made me think yet again about the balance of power between photographer and camera in any human-camera relationship. And again, does the centre of gravity of power change when the photographer employs a remote device? In my present experience, I claim I was in control of the overall process, even if I might be at a distance from the camera while generating work. There is an awful lot of planning, organising and general maintenance to attend to, and that's before starting to work with the photographs. When Gill made his trail camera work, he had been a photographer for over 30 years, so had a breadth of experience to draw from when analysing and interpreting the images generated. In retrospect, I don't think it occurred to me to take into consideration that I did not have Gill's extensive photography experience to draw upon, and with insufficient experience, I instinctively reverted to my previous research experience in social sciences. As a result, I now see, I was performing a different type of analysis from Gill's, and inevitably eliciting a different type of interpretational construct. Too late, I read of Haseman's proposal for a new research paradigm for practice-led research in creative fields, which he calls performative research, distinct from the qualitative and quantitative research paradigms which I am struggling to break out of in my quest to be a photographer. I wish I'd seen that before I began my present work, for I perceive that performative methodologies may provide a different way of coming to know, that they are an inclusive form of representation. They are an experience, a blurring of the self-other divide, and an alternative vision. They appear to cope with uncertainty without attempting to impose rigid order on data. I will return to Haseman's proposal in a future module. I monitor my photography practice so that, for example, I avoid printing, I publish work online, I use rechargeable batteries, and in my present practice I have worked completely at home so no travel has been involved. This is work I will continue for some time. I have devised plans for the disposal of my cameras. Regine Catala, seen here with her business partner, is the owner of an electrical goods shop. Regine assures me that whenever I have any photographic or computer equipment, including memory cards and external hard disks, that has reached the end of its serviceable life, I can drop them into her shop, from where they will be taken to a specialist centre in Lyon. There, precious metals and other materials will be identified and carefully removed, and plastics recycled where possible, or otherwise safely and ethically disposed of or stored. In due course, this will include the trail cameras, although I have other plans to loan the first inexpensive trail cameras to 2 village children, so they may run their own projects. When the children have finished with them, I will put those cameras into the wild in anticipation of generating different work. If they are stolen, I will assume that the thief will use the cameras. Otherwise, when the time comes, all trail cameras will be recycled via Madame Catala.